You know, every single time you walk into a doctor's office, you're doing something really important. You're telling a story. It's the story of your body, right? Your symptoms, your life, the whole thing. But here's the big question for today. In this crazy, fast-paced world we live in, is our healthcare system actually listening? Let's dive in and find out.
All right, so let's really unpack this idea from Dr. Srivatsa. I mean, it's powerful, right? And this isn't just some nice poetic thought. No, this is the bedrock of good medicine. Your story, your personal experience, the way you've lived through your illness, that is literally the most crucial piece of the puzzle for a doctor. It's the starting gun for the entire diagnostic race.
And boom, that leads us right to the heart of the problem with modern healthcare, doesn't it? I mean, in a world of these super short 7-minute appointments where the clock is always ticking, has the whole system just forgotten how to listen? Has that rich personal story just been boiled down to a bunch of boxes on a checklist? It's a scary thought.
So, let's dig into that. Your illness is a story, and that's really the foundation of all clinical medicine. To really get what's at stake here, let's just take a minute to picture what that perfect doctor-patient visit should look like. A process where your story isn't just the opening act, it's the whole show.
Okay, so the health history. It sounds kind of boring, right? Like that clipboard they hand you in the waiting room? But it is so much more than that. It's supposed to be the absolute cornerstone of everything. It's not a static form, it's a dynamic conversation. Think of it like a detective interviewing the key witness. That's you. It's where the doctor starts connecting the dots between your personal story and all their medical knowledge to figure out what's really going on.
And this is how it's all supposed to work in a perfect world. Look at how every single step flows from that first one, listening to the story. That's the doctor's #1 job. Listen first, because that story, it's what guides the physical exam. It's what helps them create a list of possible conditions, and it's what dictates the entire game plan. It all comes back to the patient's story, everything.
Okay, so that's the ideal. But let's get real. What happens when that ideal shatters? We're talking about a system in crisis, when protocols start to matter more than people.
And this quote, wow, it really pulls back the curtain on a deeply troubling reality from Dr. Srivatsa's own life. Here he was, simply insisting on basic, fundamental infection control, stuff that keeps patients safe. And what happened? He was met with annoyance, resistance. He actually lost his hospital contract over it. That's a giant red flag, showing a system that had completely plugged its ears to crucial warning.
And when you lay it out on a timeline like this, you really see it. This wasn't just a one-off issue. This was a 40-year struggle, a decades-long battle. I mean, look at this. Warning about superbugs way back in the 80s, calling out those impersonal checklists in the 90s. He was consistently sounding the alarm, fighting against a system that was choosing convenience over patient safety, time and time again.
So what's the consequence of all this systemic failure to listen? Well, it's not small. It's catastrophic. This is what has fueled one of the biggest threats we face as a species, antibiotic resistance. We're talking about a future, a very real future, where a simple infection, something we don't even think about today, could become a death sentence.
Yeah, it's a pretty bleak picture, I know. But here's a twist. What if the solution could come from a place you'd least expect it? What if technology, the very thing we often blame for making everything so impersonal, could actually be the key to bringing back the story, to creating an AI that truly listens?
Okay, before we get into the solution, we need to understand a quick but crucial difference. There are really two kinds of AI here. You've got the old-school rule-based systems. Think of them like a very strict, very dumb robot that can only follow a pre-written script. If this, then that. They're rigid. They break easily. But then you have machine learning. This is a whole different ballgame. It learns from massive amounts of data, finding subtle patterns, kind of like how a seasoned doctor develops a gut feeling over decades of practice.
And this is the result of all that work, the Maya system. It's brilliant in its simplicity. It uses that smart, flexible machine learning to listen to the story of your symptoms. It spots patterns and then gives you this incredibly simple, color-coded advice. Things are serious? It's red. Go to the hospital now. Moderate? Green. You need to see a doctor for a closer look. And if it's mild, it's yellow. You're likely okay to treat it at home. But here's the most important part. The AI isn't locked into rigid rules. Its prime directive is to always choose the safest option to prevent any dangerous delays.
And the mission here is huge. It's not just about diagnosis. It's about prevention and protection. It's about stopping those terrible outcomes, complications, hospitalizations, even death, before they ever get a chance to happen. And this is huge. It's about leveling the playing field, getting this life-saving knowledge to everyone, whether you can read or not, so that literally no one on Earth gets left behind. It's about empowering people. So yeah, the potential is just mind-blowing, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Like any powerful new tool, this is a double-edged sword. We have to talk about the promise, but we also have to be very real about the peril.
First, the promise. And it is nothing short of revolutionary. I want you to just take a second and imagine it. True, universal healthcare. A system that doesn't care where you live, what language you speak, or how much money you have. That is the dream here. Putting expert-level medical knowledge into the hands of every single person on the planet.
But then there's the peril, and it's pretty scary. The NIH, for example, warns about something called adversarial attacks.
Do we try to build all the safeguards against these attacks right now while the tech is still new? If we act now, we could make it really robust. But if we act too early, we might lock ourselves into the wrong solutions and kill innovation before it even gets started. It's a really, really tough call.
Okay, so we've talked promise, we've talked peril, but what does this all mean for the future of your health? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Empowering patients, not replacing doctors.
And let's be super clear about this. The goal isn't to get rid of doctors. Not at all. The vision is for AI to be a partner, a collaborator. Think of a tool like Maya as a brilliant translator. It's a bridge between you and your doctor. It helps you tell your story better, and it helps your doctor listen better, making sure that not a single important detail gets lost in translation.
So if your health is a story, who should help you write the next chapter? Because what this all boils down to is this. We are on the cusp of a new era. An era where technology might just be the thing that puts the patient's story right back where it belongs, at the absolute center of healthcare. It gives you the power to be a co-author in your own health journey. The only real question left is, how are we all going to use these tools to write that next chapter?